Could real estate be the key to unlocking trillions of dollars onto the XRP ledger? There's a good clip here from Armando. I want to get into what he's saying here and give you some additional context. We have the rise of RLUSD being mentioned in some very big circles. Of course, RLUSD takes the top 100 spot. I got a ton of other Ripple and XRP news and info in this video, but let's start here.
Now, everybody talks about XRP going to 1,000 or 10,000 due to it potentially replacing SWIFT. But this is something that nobody's talking about. Listen to this.
New Jersey is already putting 370,000 property records on blockchain. So you're already seeing cities do this. That is a tell for me that, holy crap, this is already here and it's happening fast, because typically you see the government entities doing the current things last. BlackRock is now tokenizing 10 trillion in assets. This isn't like a Web.3 trend. This is infrastructure. Here's a case in Texas. A house in Texas just sold to 38 people using an NFT. So what did they do? They took a house that's worth $235,000 in McAllen, Texas, and turned it into tokens. Then they raised $246,000 from 38 investors. And these are normal people. 15 of them have never used crypto before. So they set up their first wallet to buy in. Now they earn weekly rent in USDC, and they can sell their shares on the platform that they want.
Really quickly, so if you're not familiar with what's happening here, when you're bringing real estate, you can tokenize it and bring it on the blockchain. When you do that, you can separate that into as many pieces as you want. So normally when you're buying a house, one person or, married couple, whatever it is, a business comes in and they have to come up with a down payment and the financing and all of that stuff. Through blockchain solutions, we are able to, instead of having one person coming in, you can have 10 or 20 or 50. It doesn't matter. You can separate that and bring in investors that might not have the capital to buy their own home, but have the capital to participate in getting a share of a home. And this is how people will be able to build wealth, as well as unlocking trillions of dollars in illiquid assets across the entire world. Real estate is like 400 trillion. If we can start having the ability to have multiple groups of people coming in and supporting buying and selling real estate, that could be beneficial to whatever real estate market that is going to supercharge.
Most people want cash flow, even when they're young, which I think that's a mistake, but all of that comes into play. You don't need to be a millionaire anymore. That's the cool part. You just need a wallet and a phone, which we all have.
Now, real estate is the biggest asset class in the world by far, but it's completely outdated, and XRP could be the key to unlocking trillions of dollars in value. Buying property today is slow, expensive, and inefficient. Every state, every country has its own systems. Paperwork is incredibly illiquid. Now, blockchain is changing that with real-world asset tokenization. In Dubai, title deeds are now being put on XRP's ledger. Imagine trading real estate like stocks, or sending it across the world in seconds, or buying a piece of a building that you love. That's a $16 trillion market by 2030, and Ripple's already at the table with regulators, banks, and governments to make this happen. XRP is becoming a bridge that makes real estate liquid and globally accessible. What do you guys think?
All right, great clip here, but there's some additional context that he left out that I need to explain to you in depth here. So Ripple has partnered with several banks and governments, real estate technology firms to tokenize real estate on the XRP ledger, with the most prominent example being in Dubai's land department, which is actively issuing proper digital property title deeds on the XRP ledger. So this is a big difference. When you're just having deeds to something, it doesn't represent value. It just represents ownership, right? So there's no value attached to that. That is what we're missing here in the context of what he's talking about. Tokenization and deed primarily places ownership records on chain, but the broader financial value, such as mortgages or assets of market value, are not automatically represented. So you can have somebody's title, their paperwork on chain, but the value of their mortgage, the value of the home, doesn't necessarily mean that will be on chain too. Now that is what we're trying to get to here, having all of this value represented. So when you do sell the real estate, not only does the deed transfer, but the value of that deed also transfers. And that's what we're trying to get at here. It's not automatically represented. So the direct effect on XRP price depends on how deeply the tokenization extends into property's financial economy. So this is a great clip that I could play and teach you about this, because this is something that everybody who holds XRP needs to properly understand. It says Ripple partnership with the Control Alt, the Dubai Land Department, is the most advanced public initiative focusing on the custody and management of tokenized property deeds, properties in Dubai are being fractionalized, allowing global investors to purchase and own fractions of real estate, so opening it up to the entire world. This infrastructure allows for secure issuance, custody, and trading of these deeds on the public XRP ledger. Projects are structured for potential expansion. Other Ripple collaborations worldwide with banks and asset managers and governments are also positioning to tokenize not just real estate titles, but also securities, commodities, and other asset classes. So impact on XRP's price, deeds versus mortgage value. This is what we need to get into. Deeds only. Placing just the property title on the XRP ledger improves transparency in trading, but has limited direct XRP price impact. The transaction volume for titles transfers is low, and the XRP used is largely to pay for minimal network reserves or transactions fees. So there's not really anything being represented here other than the transaction fee being paid to move that. Mortgages and asset value. If tokenization extends to representing equity, mortgages, and full property value, enabling properties to be bought, sold, and borrowed against or paid for in or on the XRP ledger, the impact grows. This could require XRP to act as a settlement or a bridge asset, dramatically increasing network usage, associated XRP demand, and log XRP for network stability. So the value of a property could be represented in XRP, and if that XRP is locked to represent that property value, that is where price appreciation would come from. We have to be able to lock XRP, the value of that, against the property. That reduces the circulating supply. It creates a network effect, and this is exactly what we're trying to get to. Each tokenized asset requires a small XRP reserve lockup. Scaling to billions or trillions of tokenized assets increases XRP network lockup, boosting utility and the potential price. And then here are some key takeaways if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. But I just thought this was really important. I did give some examples here just to take this one step further, because that's how we do it, right? If 20 trillion in real estate value was actively bought or sold and traded on the XRP ledger, with XRP placing a direct role in settlement and institutional liquidity, the price impact on XRP could be major, but the outcome would depend on several adoption, and it talks about multiplier effects. So it says estimates from industry models suggest if XRP is captured 10%, 19 to 20 trillion tokenized asset market required proportionally XRP market cap as backing, or XRP market cap as backing, XRP could reach $32 to $64 per coin. XRP acted as the dominant settlement layer and structured a larger share, say 20%, some analysts project, and XRP price could be $60 to $100. So it really does matter if we are representing that value. And if we start representing that value, that is where price appreciation can come from. All right, the rise of RLUSD lock-in. This is Martin Brocchio, founder and CEO of Schumann Financial, will be at Ripple Swell. Schumann Financial, wasn't Schumann Financial the company that released a euro-based stablecoin on the XRP ledger? I think it is. I'm going to just go look at that after I play this.
I think we're still in very early days. So like everybody's trying to become that stablecoin issuer because it's so cool and hot. But I think there will be a flight to quality, and eventually there will be a small number of sort of the main stablecoin, like in every currency. I'm sure USDC will definitely be one of them in the dollar stablecoins, but there is a couple other, big issuers, that might become a competitor, whether it's Ripple, PayPal. And I think we're going to see the same thing in Europe. In Europe, we actually don't have that many euro stablecoin issuers. It's pretty small, and if anything, like they're all like now disappearing, kind of one by one. So this is why we're taking it slowly and very carefully, because we actually do want to build that really high quality issuer where everything is sort of perfect from the setup to distribution. So yeah, I think we will see a quite flight to quality in this concentration.
All right, really quickly, let's just double check and fact check that. Schumann Financial, let's pull up Lexi, did launch a euro-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. Let me just fact check that real quick. I did want to show you why that's getting there. RLUSD sneaks into the top 100 spot. They are at 98 in front of Gala Games. Gala's been kind of losing some steam, right? I don't know, man. Gala used to be like the gaming community. Everyone wanted to be there. And now, yes, Schumann Financial has launched a euro-backed stablecoin called Europe. We were correct on that. Nice. Love it. Here is another clip from Digital Asset Investors. Mark Yusko talking with the gentleman here. It says, for over a decade, this guy played dumb for acting like he didn't understand XRP. Now he's aggressively attacks XRP. Same with Caitlin Long. What's changed? Why now? Just as we approach the level of regulatory playing field, just as Bitcoin regulatory monopoly is about to end, XRP was contained by regulatory capture, so they didn't need to attack it until now. The fear is real. Let me play it.
Pushing for the adoption of digital technology.
That we can agree on.
Not going down the path of a surveillance state, CBDC, and, wanting a decentralized future. Now, some would argue, yeah, but they're allowing things like XRP to have hope that they're going to be involved. They're probably not going to be. And they can allow, the other shit coins, and why does Trump have a family coin? And why do they get to do this public company and this new token? Look, the Emollients Clause is not as enforced as it once was. And look, greedy people are going to do greedy stuff.
Mark Yusko obviously has a financial reason to shit on XRP, right? He's in Bitcoin, he's in Ethereum. He wants those to do better. If he can get people to sell their XRP into Ethereum or Bitcoin, he makes money. It is shocking to me how ignorant Mark Yusko is of all the connections between Ripple and XRP globally. And, maybe he's just not spending his days understanding things like you and I are here, but I'm going to have to strongly disagree with Mark Yusko and wish him well with whatever it is he's trying to do. XRP reference rates, Giovanni Visicchio. I messed that up. I'm so sorry. Global head of cryptocurrency products at CME. He'll be at Ripple Swell too. Let me play this and I'll give you some additional context because when I heard this, I was like,
I want to talk about another announcement. XRP and internet computer reference rates. So talk to everybody about these.
Yeah, so earlier in the month, we added 2 more reference rates to our suite of reference rates and real-time indices. With the addition of XRP and internet computer, we now cover, I believe it's 24 different coins and tokens. So these reference rates and real-time indices, similar to what I discussed earlier about the BRR, BR, and Y, the reference rates that we have across these other coins and tokens really provide market participants with that price discovery, right? So participants can look at these rates for transparency. They could use these rates perhaps as benchmarks to track, say, their portfolios, or as benchmarks, reference rates that they can use perhaps to create ETP exchange traded products, for example. So we're super happy. With the addition of those 2, we now cover about 93% of the investable cryptocurrency market.
Remember, CME futures for XRP was one of the fastest growing products ever on CME. And so just trying to get some additional context here and background, CME Group is the world's largest derivatives exchange, began launching official XRP reference rates and real-time indices in 2024 calculated by CF benchmarks. The reference rates offer transparent, regulated pricing for XRP, enabling institutional products like futures, ETFs, and structured notes to be created using these rates and benchmarks. In May 2025, CME also launched cash-settled XRP futures contracts settled against their XRP dollar reference rates, signaling further mainstream financial adoption of XRP as an asset class. And so if you want to just take a look here, some more additional information, please do, but I'm not going to, give you that. I just want to give you that additional context. All right. Nobody has had more staying power than Ripple. 37 seconds. Let's get it.
But somehow they're not thinking that much about, can this person endure for 15 years? Okay, not 15 years, 10, not 10, 5. Okay, so what's the plan after 5? And, there's certain founders, Hayden at Uniswap, Stanny at Aave, the Avalanche team. You have to give some credit to Ripple. Ethereum has endured. The Solana, I just think that the teams that have had staying power through thick and thin are really impressive to me. And I really admire that. And I think that's really hard in life.
True, man. Very true. Okay. I think Eric Trump just accidentally said the intentionally quiet part out loud. Words mean things. And guess what? The number one asset of all of crypto space by fair market cap, by notoriety, by brand, frankly, by function, and really the only one that stands as digital gold and true hard asset that's not kind of linked to payment rails. It's Bitcoin. Let me play this.
Crypto just in general is growing faster than the internet was growing, back in, before the kind of .com. It's exploding all around the world and every single country is sprinting at it. And honestly, because we've had good leadership in this country, we're leading the way, but you better China's watching and they're sprinting. The Middle East. I mean, everybody in the Middle East is endeavoring. And guess what? The number one asset is in all of the crypto space by far, by market cap, by notoriety, by brand, and frankly, by function. And really the only one that really stands as digital gold and a true hard asset that's not kind of linked to payment rails.
Digital gold, right? This is what they're selling Bitcoin as today. Listen.
As digital gold and a true hard asset that's not kind of linked to payment rails, it's Bitcoin. And
it's not linked to payment rails, right? It's not going to be used by financial institutions. The biggest use case in the world, the biggest, is payments. There's no other bigger use case than payments and settlement. If you want to be a digital store of value, awesome. Good luck. I want to invest in the infrastructure for the new financial system, and it is not Bitcoin. It never was. No central banks, no serious financial institutions are looking at Bitcoin as a solution for payments. Zero, right? Some might say we offer Bitcoin payments, but realistically in the background, in the operations, are they really using Bitcoin for all of their transactions? No, they are not. They want you to buy Bitcoin because they want to be able to sell and dump on you. That is the story here. What bothers me about these two is they go on TV and they talk about being debanked and they're the victims. I'm a victim. This is why we created World Liberty Financial. And the first opportunity World Liberty Financial got, they blacklisted their biggest holder, Justin Sun. Now, regardless of what happened there, you just did what you go out and tell people that you are a victim of, like, I'm a victim of being debanked. Oh, now we're going to debank Justin Sun. Make a decision. Are you the victim here about being debanked and you're trying to build this infrastructure to be decentralized so anybody can use it? Or you just recreating the same scam that we've seen 100 times? Anyway, not everybody wants it. I'll see you guys. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.